We're down here at the VFW. We're here to see, what is it, Go Mod Go. And I'm here with my brother, but I ran into Chris Reinhardt one time, Washington, D.C. bicycle messenger. So Chris, real quick, I like to start these conversations with the basic 411 of how old are you, what year was it, and what company, maybe how you came about being a bike messenger.
Yeah, I started in probably 1986, 87. I worked for WEX, Washington Express. And I did it until 94. So I did it for about 7 years. So late 80s, early 90s. And I worked for a couple other people, I guess in between, but mostly for WEX. And I guess towards the end, WEX was like the one company that paid 60% commission towards the end, and they had a really good rate. And so towards the end, I was basically popping in the afternoon and making like a day's work. And then I had my kid, and I hadn't had an accident in a number of years, and I decided it was time for me to have an accident, and I didn't want to die, so I quit doing it.
So what was life like as a bike messenger? So, you say you're working kind of a part-time day. What are you doing with those other hours of the day?
Probably back then sleeping, but no, I don't know.
Did you live in a group house? Were you in Mount Pleasant?
I lived in a group house and then lived alone. But being a messenger was a wild time, man. It was it's the Peter Pan job is really what it is. And it's funny, if you go out to the West Coast and you tell people you used to be a messenger, they're like super cool. If you're like in other places, they're like you're just a child. So it was one of those kind of things. And I still have. Every couple years I have nightmares that I'm a messenger again, and I don't even ride my bike on the sidewalk now. And the things that we used to do back in the day, bouncing off buses, crazy stuff, man.
So you're talking about a few accidents. Did you ever have an accident that merited a trip in an ambulance?
Mm-hmm. I've been underneath a truck. Pickup truck. I was gurneyed away, and then the ambulance did a 360 on a Porter on Adams Mill. Almost fucking died in the ambulance. Been hit by a van, been hit by cars, bounced off buses. I mean, everybody who's been a messenger has had something like that happen. Everybody.
And do you think that part of the reason you got hit because you were taking extra risk because it was commission and you wanted to make more money?
You're not thinking that. You're just riding hard, man. But even if you're not riding hard, everybody who's been a messenger has been doored, has hit a pedestrian. I mean, now that I think about it, I feel super guilty, and I guess I'm still working out some karma from some of the pedestrians I hit. So.
Yeah, but it wasn't really your fault.
Yeah, in a couple of instances, sure it was. Riding on the sidewalk. What are you gonna do?
Yeah, no. I ran over Tip O'Neill's toe one time, and you know what? He said, "Hey, how you doing?" Like he wasn't really bothered. I was going the wrong way on a one-way, taking a turn on a one-way, and yeah, we were often in the wrong. But I think a lot of times it was a contribution, a pedestrian not looking before they leap, stepping out.
Tip O'Neill was a tippler, though, wasn't he? I think he was. So now those were, this is the pre 9/11 days where you could wander around the house and Capitol building, and obviously the whole culture has completely changed now. So back in my day, there were about 500 messengers in DC. I think now there's 50.
If that, true.
Yeah.
True. And it is interesting, just to think about, the history that you witnessed and wandering around the corridors where laws are made or whatever those guys are doing on Capitol Hill.
Nothing right now.
But no, it's interesting. So sometimes I'll ask people like, did you have any brushes? What's the most famous person you delivered to or rode an elevator with?
My favorite moment was what was his name? I was in one of the Senate buildings, and it was the 60 Minutes guy with the big bushy eyebrows. Not Sam Brokaw.
Andy Rooney.
No. It might have been Sam Brokaw, and he was getting his makeup put on, and he was getting all flustered, and he swatted the woman away, and he's like, "Get the fuck off me!" But now I remember, back then you could you were walking around all kinds of people, but I don't know. I didn't really pay attention to any of that. So I can't think of anybody famous. So honestly, there were certain senators who always had like super attractive women working in their offices, and it was clear that that's why they hired them.
Oh, the Hart, I think, had the best looking of all the Senate office buildings.
Yeah. Crazy days, man. Crazy days. Peter Pan job. You're just a kid and
so did you like riding the bike?
There's something about riding a bike in traffic, full bore, dodging buses. There's, you see some of the Courier documentaries and you see what they're doing now with the GoPro, and we all did that, and it's a game for the young, man. It's like being a framing carpenter. It's a game for the young, even though there are people that are still doing it, like Scrooge is still doing it apparently.
Well, he's not on a bicycle, he's on a motorized scooter.
Okay.
But he's working like a dog. He's still out there
hustling. He's in and out of traffic. Whether you're on a scooter, a bike, it's the same thing.
Yeah, I was racing in a Halloween alley cat, the Dead City alley cat, and I'd gotten off track and I was going back to get on track on North Capitol, and who's coming at me? I'm out playing Bike Messenger while Scrooge is out on a scooter making food deliveries. But we'll wind it up with that. We can talk more offline, but that's a little taster. I want to save my video for the band. But
Jake Starr.
Well, this isn't the Jake Starr experience. He's a hired gun with Go Mod Go. Yeah.
Come on, let's have some fun tonight. Yeah. Come closer, I need to see you. I gotta take my glasses off, I need to see you. Come on. It's hot, it's humid, it's the VFW. Come on up, come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on, let's dance. Timmy, Timmy. Go, Remy. If I don't love you, baby, oh. down in Hellbourne. Great day cry in Hellbourne. I love you. Thank you. Thanks so much. Abigail, how long have I been singing that song? 60 years now.
Almost.
I turned 40 years old in a couple weeks. Just want that to be clear to everybody.
You're killing you. She can't hear the vocals. Don't stand in front of there. Move that way a little more. Okay, they're killing you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to bring Miss Tookie to the stage. She's been singing backup, but this is her time to shine. So give it up for Tookie.
Where are my dancers? The beat goes on. The beat goes on. Drums keep pounding.
Thank you. Sorry I stepped on your purse.
Solid band.
Wouldn't be the first time.
You fuck with the Baltimore
Yeah.
scene? The music?
I don't follow any music.
So you guys, once again, thanks so much for
Yeah, whatever
coming.
you like.
Please tip your bartenders. Please tip the jar.
I just haven't seen him play in a while, so I wanted to.
Yeah, that's cool, man.
This,
But also, I'm only a mile from here.
Yeah.
So,
Have you seen Kurt recently? Sanders?
Sanders, only online.
You know, right? Yeah, he's always like writing crazy shit.
Yeah. Dyeing his hair.
Yeah.
Great man.
Yeah. David Dunn, I want to see that motherfucker. I haven't seen him in a while.
Who's that?
David Dunn.
all right.
So, you know, I did a little interview before and then we started making small talk afterwards and things got a lot more interesting. We covered some topics and a lot of times, so maybe I could get you, maybe if I get on this side, I can use this light and get the... So, you know, you worked as a messenger for 7 years and we were talking, we covered kind of like the independent contractor, the 1099 of it all. And the misery of being a bike messenger, the greatest job in the world. But you've got a job, it doesn't give you health insurance, no benefits, no 401k, and it doesn't pull out taxes. So if you think you're making $100 a day, you're only making $66 a day, but you're spending $100 a day.
Precisely, the great American job. You're a migrant worker on wheels.
So what do you think of the, you know, your employers now that like you look back then, you were like, oh, you know, this company owner, because the companies were small enough that the workers knew the owners.
Yeah, there's this whole idea that there's an inherent nefariousness in it all. I don't think the people that run those companies, at least back in the day, they weren't trying to exploit their workers. And yet, in a way, I suppose they were. But I don't think any courier, there's probably a few courier companies that do things legit, but they're few and far between. So it's a great, the comparative example would be you could work for UPS or FedEx and you're a delivery person and you get a fantastic pension plan and all that, or you could work for Amazon, and that's what they do nowadays. And you could be a side person doing that, and it's the same thing. It's all 1099. So, the bigger you get, the more, when you have these big companies, they can do that kind of stuff. And most courier companies are small companies. In the end, when you're in your 20s or teens, you're just looking at the money. You're not looking at that. And
well, you're ignorant. Life lessons are learned in life. There's no one who told you.
As a side note, I would say it's a shame that in high school, or at least in your education when you're younger, they don't teach you the important things. Like you're going out into the world, you start paying your taxes right away. And now that's terrible of me to blame.
Ed Mullaney.
Yeah, that's or whoever it was. Ed Mullaney.
He was a saint.
No, I mean,
Hostetler, Coach Hostetler.
With a lot of people in this country, when you're just trying to make ends meet, and I have a lot of friends that do that are based, do kind of 1099 work, and some of these people get paid really well. Like we're talking like $1,000 a day, and they get caught up in that kind of stuff too, because it's just, you have to be very, very disciplined, and there should be a way that people or companies take out your taxes right away. So, obviously it goes without saying, the company that when you're 1099, the company is not paying payroll taxes, they're not paying Social Security, none of that. So they make out. In the end, they make out.
Yeah, it's an unfair relationship because, it's not their responsibility to read the fine print to you, but they treat you like an employee. You have to show up at a certain time. I know you said you had a relationship where you got to show up late and make money, but for the most part, if you don't show up on time, then you forfeit the favoritism. So they muscle you. It becomes like a real job. It's not, they try and claim that you're working for yourself, but no, you're always working for them.
Right. The best example is in construction, where if you're a subcontractor, you do not work for that company. You're contracted out to do work. You can show up whenever you want, as long as you get the job done. I worked for a construction company after being a messenger for 6 years at 1099 everybody. And at the very end, they got us all company t-shirts and asked us to wear those t-shirts. And I said, what's going on here, man? I'm not an employee. And yet, for all those years that I worked for that company, the expectation was you show up at this time, you do this, you're treated as an employee. So that was real exploitation right there. And then in the end, I think, the best of my knowledge, there were 3 or 4 or 5 or half the guys for that company ended up suing them. And I think they won. So, no, you get caught in a rat hole, man. You get caught. And there's still quite a lot of people in this country that do 1099 work. But hey, for what it's worth, it's better than being a Pakistani and you're building skyscrapers in Dubai. So people are exploited all over the world, man. It just shouldn't be happening in this country, and yet this is America. So
yeah, it's one of the tragedies of the bike messenger. And so a lot of people, they gave the workers who were pre-computer gave a fake Social Security number, so they were never in the system. And so, like, the laugh was like, ah, ha, ha, you're not doing this. But they're like, well, I'm not doing that. Yeah. But as we spoke, the people who decided to go legit, a lot of them had to, make a deal with the IRS, payment plans. And
yeah. No, it's tough. But the thing about being a messenger too is that it's like construction, but even worse, man. You're putting your life on the line every minute of the day. And you know, when you're doing that, and to add insult to injury, I would venture to say that there are a whole lot of former messengers out there that are still paying their taxes through payment plans. So that got screwed in the end. So.
And, you know, there's health issues. Now, we couldn't say that we know whether or not there are health issues from the breathing in of the exhaust, like black lung, but, you know, a lot of the guys rode fixed gears and their knees are gone, or they rode a messenger bag that was single strap and they carried excessive weight and then caused like a scoliosis of the spine type thing. You know, you see a lot of these guys, they can't ride anymore because all those years of work. And yes, it was their choice to ride that bike or ride in that style, but had they known beforehand that it would degrade your body so badly, would they have done it?
Yeah, well, once again, another comparative way of looking at it is steel workers get broken down, but steel workers and pipe fitters are usually part of unions, and they have pension plans and all that, and they're you know, there are many vocations in this country that just by the way they're structured, you know, workers end up getting screwed in the end. Messengers are one of them, but you know,
they tried to unionize. There was a DC Bicycle Messenger Association, and there was talk, but I just don't think they could get enough buy-in. You know, there has to be a sacrifice to become part of that team.
Yeah, I
of
didn't
messengers.
know about that. So
could have been after your era.
yes, my era was a long time ago.
Well, this was a long time ago too.
Yeah.
But you know, yeah, it is a major tale of woe. The whole, you know, the real success story of a messenger company is to get out of being a messenger. That's the irony of this podcast. Is, you know, you know, I want to tell the stories, but I think a lot of the stories, sure, it's like Hemingway. It's got a tragic ending.
Well, I would say the you know, apparently the statistic is that your average NFL player plays for a couple years. I would think that your average messenger stuck around for a couple years. There's some long, you know, old school people that were around for a long time, but most people only did it for a little bit of time. You know, those of us that did it for 7, 10 longer years, you know, I suppose that was our choice. You know,
well, there were people who were, lifers, long timers, you know, and the veterans of the street, like we spoke earlier, Scrooge. There was a moment where that Scrooge and Mark were both still out there on the bike, and both those guys, it was like a battle of 3.5 decades, and then Mark retired, and then Scrooge moved to a gas-powered scooter for his delivery work, which is logical. You can't work 10 hours a day on the bicycle.
Well, Scrooge has got to be in his mid to late 60s at this point, if not older.
I think he's a vampire in his hundreds.
Yeah.
Those photos of him when he's young, you forget what a smooth character he was.
Yeah, and he was pretty fit back in the day, I recall. But I think one of the last people I saw when I was driving around D.C. Might have been him. And I thought, good Lord. You know, I got to say this real quick. I was always a pretty conscientious type rider. And a couple years after I quit being a messenger, I was driving downtown with my window open, and a courier pulled up next to me and hawked a huge loogie like an oyster all over my face. And I
didn't realize that was
what
you.
I had done. And she kept coming after me, and I said, man, I used to be a messenger. Like, what did I do? And it was like not resonating. I guess that was karma right there, man. That was karma.
I think one of the interesting things is the car often doesn't have to do much, because someone can be like, they can take it, and then someone does next to nothing and they get the wrath of the 99 cars before them.
I don't know. I mean, all I can say is that riding in traffic as many miles as one put on the road out, you know, I'm lucky to be here. And think about 20 years ago, I got hit just in my neighborhood by a woman who ran a stop sign, and I was down on the ground. Wasn't really hurt that bad. I mostly threw my shoulder out because as she was hitting me, I was like, you know, did that reflex. And then people were just driving by. Nobody stopped to say, "Are you all right?" She was like, you know, I think she was on her cell phone, and I knew that's when I didn't even want to ride a bike on a sidewalk anymore. And these days, with people with their phones, man, forget it. Forget about it. So, you know, if you want to ride a bike, you got to find a nice trail in Scotland somewhere.
Well, yeah, because you go on the multi-use trails here, and as we just found in New York, you know, someone had a head-on collision with a fast-powered scooter, and both people died. It's tragic. And then not even a week passed, and so there was another head-on collision. So yeah, the dangers are out there. The game of Frogger in 2026 is much more complicated than 1986.
Yeah, people ain't looking out for two wheels, man. So.
Well, they never were, but they're also hard to see them. I was once driving at this 66 Nova, and I was going down Porter Street down by Connecticut Avenue. And I think I was doing everything legally, but all of a sudden I hear this noise and this bump-a-bump on the side of my car. And there was this guy that we used to call Crackhead Tommy. And Tommy, somehow I hit him with the side of my car, and he's like under my car.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm a conscientious driver. You know, I wasn't like, you know, it was daytime, wasn't partying, you know, I wasn't drinking. And yeah, it's the bicycle does just, you know, Porter Street's a hill. You know, I looked back, there was nothing there, and then he was there.
Yeah.
And then he was under my car.
Well, that's where one of the accidents I had was screaming down Connecticut Avenue, took a left on Porter, and I went underneath a pickup truck. And good Lord, this is back in the early 90s. And I don't know, man, shit happened.
Scared the daylights out of you.
Shit happened. When
you almost die, it's funny because when you have these almost death situations, those aren't the times when you cuss out the driver. When it's a close call, you cuss out the driver. When you almost die, you're happy to be alive.
Yeah, I mean, I have a number of stories from being a messenger, and one of them is I saw a woman flip over a cab who ran a stop sign at 19th and N, and she was underneath the car, and she turned purple, and she basically died right in front of me. And I got on the radio and I said, "I'm out for the day." And I think they kind of protested for a minute, and I said, "I just saw somebody exit this world, man." And I've seen, I think every courier who's been on the streets for a while, you see a lot of that stuff. And I saw I came after the fact, two young women on a bike got plowed on Q Street right there at DuPont, right there when where Yasner was living when Lojo was down there. And I came out there after the fact, and the woman's foot and her shin were lying on the street 10 feet away. Even the paramedics were freaking out a little bit. And I think they both survived. They were both riding tandem on a bike and got hit by a car. And you just see a lot of stuff, you know, when you're riding all day long, man. You see stuff, and I don't know, it kind of stays with you. I mean, I know a few guys, I can't remember his one name. He saw the one woman that got run over by a bus and like basically split in half. Can't remember what that guy's name was. He was a good buddy of Scrooge. So you see stuff, man, it stays with you. And you can't ride a bike on the streets all day long and not see accidents left, right, and center. So you're bouncing around in traffic all the time, shit happens. So anyhow, I'm glad those days are over, but there were some good days when they were there, man. So yeah.
So when you worked as a messenger, did you run and hang with other messengers?
I did not. I was the one. I kind of like flew solo. I did not want to be. I mean, I've always been that way anyway. I would hang out in DuPont Circle, but in the middle of the circle, and everybody else was down on the benches. And now I didn't really hang out with very many couriers. There were some cool ones that I eventually became really good friends with, but I did not want to be.
Can you remember some of those names?
I mean, these are buddies of mine that, I became friends with over the years that actually quit being messengers, Ron and Jeff, but they were only on the road for a little bit of time. But most of the big crowd of messengers, there was that one, I lived on Harvard Street for a while. There was that one big group courier house right over there on Lamont. I can't remember, but no, I didn't really hang out with the crowd. I didn't hang out with the crowd. I just didn't. That was my scene.
Books at home or group house parties, catching live music, going down to 930 Club?
all the time. DC space.
Yeah,
That was a great thing back in the day. One of the things about riding a bike all day is, you know, you have a girlfriend that lives halfway across the city. You get on your bike and you ride over there at 9, 10 o'clock at night, you know, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 miles. I would never do that now. Your bike is I didn't own a car until I was in my late 20s. You didn't need a car. You got everywhere on your bike. It was just fine. There was at one point I was living in Rockville, and I used to ride my bike 17 miles down into the city to work from Rockville. I knew friends that lived even farther away, and that's what you did. So too bad, because man, this country, like in Holland, you see 90-year-old people riding their bikes everywhere in the city. It's awesome.
Yeah, but I think things are going to change there. Just as we have the influx of the e-bike, more and more Europeans are going to ride e-bikes. Those beautiful Dutch women, they're going to age just like ugly Americans.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah, but they're going to be thin, ugly.
No, they're going to be ugly because they're not going to be. They're not going to be as big. They're not going to be trailer park American fat, but they're not going to be. Yeah, there was a time New York had the same thing where you can't tell, like from 100 yards, you can't tell if she's 17 or 70.
Yeah.
You know, I remember going to Holland, and yeah, it was just like the women had this healthy glow to them. Well, we can wind this up. Let's go catch more of this band. So now we're at the VFW. We're checking out Jake Starr, and he's playing with Go Mod Go. And yeah, well, thanks. I think you told some great stories. I appreciate that. easy lately, not doing that much riding. I need to get back on the horse. Just going out for a short one right now. Just gonna pop on down, run an errand, go home. I don't know, maybe it'll be 12 or 15 by the time I get home. I'm about to take the Metro Branch Trail here. And this is a great separated bike path. And it's the weekend, so it will only give you the impression of what it's like on the weekend. But it can be quite congested and quite insane. It is not uncommon for this trail to be filled with kids on e-bikes. Here we go, a Lime bike or a Lime scooter, cyclist. But during rush hour, there is the potential for a worst case scenario. There is a lot of near head-on collisions. There are a lot of people who have no care about the ethic or the etiquette. They are thinking sort of only for themselves, speeding with no concern about others, forcing others to adjust to their approach. People don't really drive like their cars like that. They don't make a pass and go head on to another car. But yet somehow these people on the bike path, you have to do it to a certain degree, but you don't have to do it so it's a cutthroat situation. All right, I'm not doing any data counts here, but right now we've got a 2-to-1 e-bike to analog regular bike so far. But what do you see on a weekday is an assortment. The commuters are a wide variety, but there's been a massive growth in the parent dropping their child off at camp or daycare or school with an e-cargo bike. And they go faster than the standard cyclist, and they don't adjust for bicyclists or pedestrians as I feel they should. Quite honestly, I believe that you shouldn't be the fastest or the slowest car on the highway. And that is the same here. When you're on the bicycle, your time should be spent respecting others. Safety should be your greatest concern. We all want to make a good time, but at what expense? Now, I'm someone who likes to ride fast, but I got my hands on my brakes and my focus on the obstacles around me. I'm trying to avoid what I believe to be the worst case scenario. So these guys right here, not moving too fast. On your left. But so on a weekday, so we have the Lime scooter and the Lime bike. On the weekday, it's not uncommon to see the Lime bike coming up the trail, full speed, with the rider riding almost side saddle so that they can keep their focus on their phone that's resting on their dormant leg. They had to alter the speeds of these vehicles. There's a massive program with e-mobility in Washington, D.C. Any family that qualifies for any assistance qualifies for a free e-mobility program. And so I'm not sure how it works that children under 16 or even under 18, excuse me, have access to these bikes, but high school kids are using the e-bikes as their commuter vehicle and then as a way to travel the city after school. You see groups of friends zipping around. I mean, it's an amazing opportunity. If I had that as a teenager, I would have loved it. But it's a program that came about without any training. There was no consideration that there are rules to the road. There's law, and not just law, but there's also etiquette. And you just put these underage kids on these bikes, no concept of danger, as most young people don't have any concept of danger, and they end up putting other people in danger. Now, I don't find that the kids are malicious. I hear a lot of like polite excuse me or I'm sorry after we have near head-on collisions. You know, it's one of the risks of all of us being on these same narrow paths. Come around blind corners. It's not really built. It's an afterthought. It's not built with this type of use in mind. Sure, the straightaways have good sight lines, but lots of the trails have dangerous mergers and intersections. But that's advocacy as a whole. Car drivers drive every day and they pass different infrastructure with no respect for it. Cars coming up, entering Rock Creek Parkway or exiting Rock Creek Parkway will almost always be passing over a crosswalk for the bike path. But they're only looking for the car because they're so focused on making good time. All right, family, got to focus on them. Dad and mom on the e-bike, kid on the regular bike, kid leading the pack. You know, he's gonna run away from home, see if he can be adopted by a family where everybody rides bikes. Here we go. So we're on the Catholic University campus right now. Not sure what's up with those guys. And I guess this is probably the Catholic University Metro. I cut through here. All right. So the path actually can go behind here, but I haven't found it to be any safer to go that way or this way. It has several blind corners, or just one blind corner really, but enough near head-ons that I prefer to just come through and weave through the pedestrians. And then over here, we have this bike lane. In the bike lane, there's a grocery store, maybe a Trader Joe's, I'm not sure. But the cars entering and exiting the parking garage for that grocery store don't really have much understanding that they are crossing the bike path and that maybe the users of the bike path have the right of way. So in this moment, I can see a car coming out. Rather than putting myself into that situation, see now they're blocking it, but they do see me, so that's good enough for me, you know. But they pulled out to there before they looked. Had I been in the bike lane, I wouldn't have T-boned them, but I would have had to stop. So I think they can maybe have a sign, or I don't know at what point, it could even be in the elevator for people going down to the garage or people walking to their car. It doesn't have to even be once they're in their car. They just need to start looking, and not just looking there, but looking everywhere. You know, as a non-parent, I think that I would kind of laugh at school zone signs, but I didn't really understand it, that there's a radius for which you could expect children walking on the sidewalks and crossing the street as children, maybe not knowing the dangers, or having the right of way, and an ill-attentive driver can put them at risk. And so we just have to be aware, what is the worst case scenario and how do we avoid it. Okay, this guy, yeah, there we go, keep on going. And then e-bike in the bike lane. Yeah, front wheel is a little fucked on that thing. Well, not the wheel, but the tires off the front wheel. All right, dropping into the separated path over here. Metro branch trail just passed Dewdrop Inn. I have raced in alley cats that ended there. I've hosted alley cats that have ended there. On your left. I wonder if we're still recording right now. It's interesting that, you know, it's a long day. I'm sure that the path has its peak moments. I might be going in to a lull period. I'm sure that early morning. Yeah, that's good thing you're assertive, stepping out in front of me like that. Okay, bike share people. Lots of variables over here. Lots of things to watch for. On your left. And there's something we also have, you know, somebody who maybe isn't even a capable bicycle rider, and they're just gonna get on that low-powered motorcycle. And I hope they don't find themselves in danger if their new skills lack the reaction time, or over-braking, under-braking, too much front braking, braking on sand. There's a lot of little things we take for granted. Body posture, weight on the bike. We saw it when the scooters first came to be. People, and the Gen Z all grew up on the Razor scooter. So for the younger generations, hop on the e-scooter without any e-scooter training, it's not from nothing. But an older person like me, I may have skateboarded and snowboarded, but I never rode a scooter. The kick and go was pretty cool, but I never owned one. Oh yeah, the Metro Branch Trail. Alright. Nice to see the headlamp of the e-biker. So it's good to get the warning, you gotta watch out. And then here we have an entrance here, but it looks closed, so that guy's just chilling there, not working the booth. We've got some great murals here. Yeah, fuck all you. You know, Olive, great mural right here. So that was a situation where all three of those people passed the dog walker, and they came into my lane without any measure for my rights. I would have gone over there. That guy doesn't give a fuck about me. He's just cutting across. I thought he was adjusted because of me. If I had been in the right side, he would have gone head on. But he don't give about me. Alright, here we go. And so, don't want to go head on into this turn here. We have more people do this. Or beautiful murals on the Metro Branch Trail. And this is Alethea Tanner Park, one of the many new parks. It's an urban field of dreams scenario. No park, no people hanging out there. Build a park, everybody's hanging out there. They have all sorts of events there. Summer movies, a bike-in movie type thing. Whatever, music in the park, line dancing, yoga. And just people just hanging out. They've got a toddler park and an area for people to recreate. I love it. All right. There we have Via Stella. We've been going along these tracks. We have the metro rail, and then we also have the train tracks. There's been a major diminishing of rail travel in this region. There were times when there were, well, the largest East Coast railroad junction was Potomac Yard. And now the track width is the same as the width here. The railroad tracks this way and that way, and the metro trail this way and that way. That's the evolution of travel. Found more efficient